We're just fire, popping off, not thinking about where they're going.
On brand.
Here we are in Pixix Vans, Olaf taking off the board. Respect again for Adam, if you don't know Olaf Dog Race, one kind of quintessential picks that they made popular in the LFL. Has GP champions, but that's the signature. Jarvan, Rumble, Zaya. Again, champions that were generally pretty strong the last time we saw the meta. Jarvan, a rumored strong sprint pick right now.
Also a staple for River, one of his best champions. So if you're just getting rid of some Game 1 staples, like you said, some for Adam, some for River there as well.
I will say this is looking pretty standard when we saw it in the summer. I thought we'd have a bit of a mix with like, Zen potentially coming in, and we see things like the Orion, the Zero, the higher party, but not going to be the case. It's going to be Talia keeping that text open, and I don't think they'll get in this first rotation. I think there's an awful lot of picks you want to go for outside of that, but yeah, I mean, at the moment, it's not looking too dissimilar, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that was the biggest question you had. Obviously, there's a lot of speculation in terms of which champions could rise up as other priority picks are taken down. Clearly, remaining that flex pick gives a lot of agency. Oriana is the pick right now. Seems to be on paper one of the strongest because of the chain buff she has received this entire year.
Yeah, Oriana sliding up people's rankings. Nuke preferring standard control mages in a lot of ways. Feels like the Azirs, the Cassios, Oriana slots right in there most likely. And so this will be, I think, a lot of the focal point for the North American fans watching is if Gory can bounce back from a weak performance and try and get some advantages over Nuke, who will probably be leaning more towards the control mages.
Yeah, and as well leaning more towards those team fights, right? You know the BDS likes to try and play for these dragons in the early stages. Having that mage that you can try and use that in those early stages to play for those big team fights is going to be a nice little setup, but looks like he might be going back towards a bit of an aggressive mid lane pick here.
Jungle confirmed now, and we've got the Kasante. Now, I don't flex. They're not going to flex.
They both play Yone and they both play Kasante.
Okay, so I was aware, but I wasn't sure if they're willing to play the Kasante mid lane. I could see how it would be solid into the Oriana, but I feel like after all the nerfs, not quite as powerful as it once was.
We don't read patch notes in the name. We can't read.
I appreciate that you decided, like, the way that you get not flamed for being biased in this catch, you're like, I'm just going to trash everyone.
I know who I am, alright? And literally is not it.
I'm surprised to see the Maokai coming back into this, because I know a lot of people are talking about kind of more carry-oriented junglers, but with the Talia as well having a great late clear in the jungle, you're going to be able to pick up the pace, and I think Maokai just might struggle a little bit against the Talia here, so, but it is more Shao's style of, hey look, I'm going to try and play to stop and shut down and get vision and play more facilitator here rather than being a carry myself.
And I was just going to say that I think right now, Gold Guardians are obviously drafting themselves into a situation where they have champions that are very strong in specific scenarios outside of Talia, who I think is universally strong. And on the outside for BDS, it's safe, it's stable, it's going to scale well, which is kind of, again, when they were at their best, scaling is what they did. The question now is, what do they bring out from Crowny? And is this a good thing that they're drafting stable, or is it going to be a problem if something like this Yone pops off?
Yeah, this is Golden Guardians when they were at their best, kind of bread and butter, taking flex picks, doing interesting things in the draft, and being aggressive with them, having very high combined kills per minute, a lot of 3-man roams toward mid lane to kind of key off Gory's aggressive champions, and that was what was kind of lacking in the playoffs. So we'll see if that can bounce back here. On the draft, just in terms of the changes, I know there's a lot of conversation about practice time in Korea. Sure, there's this belief that Golden Guardians is going to get way more. I think they showed up like a day or two
very
before.
little difference.
There's very little difference in scrim time. This is the first series that we're going to see on this new patch for Worlds, and it might be people taking a little cautious for their first game going to staples like the Maokai.
Yeah, I'm curious to see though what the game plan is here, because I was looking at a lot of AD carry bans. Zaya, Ezreal, Kalista, now all taken off the board. Kalista definitely starting to rise up in priority in that bottom lane, getting that bit aggressive.
Oh, okay.
So you see things like Caitlyn and Lucian as well, those other lane bullies starting to come through. But Kai'Sa is there as kind of the other one that's kind of slipped through from meta's past, but it means you do have opportunities here to try and go for some sort of counter pick if you'd like to.
And this is, okay.
Supportive move for Hui. One of his kind of pocket picks that he's played a couple times, but not that seen by other teams.
Yeah, it was obviously really popular last Worlds, I believe, with MF, but very briefly at the start of the tournament, fell off very quickly. Once people figured out how to play against it, I think it lost a lot of steam, but still overall an impactful pick. You know how powerful the ultimate can be. And to be honest, I like what Golden Guardians are doing with this competition. You have a lot of champions who want to dive into the backline. Kai'Sa can just immediately follow, and we have
Scale
the most quintessential BS. And here's the thing, EU fans, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they're gonna win this game, it's taken 30 to 40 minutes.
Yeah, you can come back in 40 minutes.
You know, you come back in 40 minutes and the game's still not going, it's not looking good. But Golden Guardians on the other side are going to have to try to blow this wide open because Crowny is an excellent late game AD carry. If there's anyone on this team you can rely on to carry a game when we get past 2-3 items, it is Crowny. And I think that that's going to be a tall task. The Golden Guardians cannot blow this game open.
Yeah, Lebrov on his most played from summer split, 8 games over Con grabbing that one, so that's a good look for them. And yeah, this is the most like standard draft you can possibly imagine. Basically, Renekton topside, Maokai jungle, Orianna Sivir, just a Sivir comp with some engage with the Rakan as well. Going up against crazy AD focus. The Kai'Sa build that's most popular right now is actually more of a lethality build, and not the kind of AP Kai'Sa that you saw before. We'll see where he ends up going, because they otherwise are seeming to be low on magic damage beyond the Taliyah.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like, though, you've got what you're kind of looking for Golden Guardians, right? They like to try and play around this mid-jungle. You got a super strong mid-jungle you can play for, especially like Orianna. She doesn't really want to try and go for these skirmishes early in the game. Like, I know even when you look at the builds that we're seeing for Orianna, she tends to go more towards like the Luden's Echo Shadow Flame versus what would have been the more heavy scaling items that we used to see, and like you go for a tier item and then you kind of become strong at like 2.5 to 3 items. She does come online a little bit sooner, but I think if you're looking at Golden Guardians trying to play through this mid jungle, seems to be your way forward in this game.
Feels like that's the case. I think the person that people want to keep their eye on is Adam. That was who worldwide, people who were kind of talking the most about an individual player in this series. Even in the LCK, Cloud Tomplar was talking about him. Wolf likes him. There's a lot of people who like watching his playstyle. And so we'll have to see if he can get some mind games in on Golden Guardians early on. Level 1s for BDS are also pretty crazy compared to a lot of the things that we see more standard in North America.
Yeah, she's notorious in scrims for trying anything and everything at level 1. One of the most hated players to scrim against because of it. Elioya complaining on the full podcast earlier this year. Finds it miserable. We'll see if River is in the same situation. The Dive obviously very confident. Kobe specifically was very confident in River's ability to individually outplay. And certainly when you have a carry jungler like Taliyah, if you want to show off, if you want to individually be the difference maker, this is a champion that can let you do it.
But I think it works well against BDS, because you know the Shale wants to go towards Sejuani and Maokai, these kind of things. So I think it's a good call here from Golden Guardians. But again, it's as you say, Shale wants to try and get in your face, try and get that vision down in your jungle, and just stop you from being able to interact on the map. So I'm curious to see how BDS get that going here against Golden Guardians.
I think it's a really interesting clash of the two jungle styles as well, just across the board with this team. So many different ways to talk about it, because River is one of the most notorious camp skipping, showing up in your lane level 2 from the most awkward angle possible kind of champions, and Taliyah being a more tempo focused kind of style is something that you do want to get eyes on early, because he'll go for a level 2 flick back on you out of nowhere if any of his lanes have setup, which you know a lot of them actually do here.
And it's interesting because I think with players like Malrang not doing as well this year, EU fans have been missing out on a lot of the level 2 psychotic plays.
Yeah.
Like we still get it, but we don't have a quintessential psycho jungler that's very successful in LEC right now. So we'll see if BDS can adapt. But again, I think that teams have clearly decided not to match fire with fire. It is fire versus ice as much as is humanly possible. On the top side, level 2 for Adam, just trying to get this wave pushed in. We'll see how this matchup shapes up as we get later and later into the game. Xante obviously just repeatedly nerfed, but it still just remains relevant because of how powerful that kit is.
Yeah, I think in this situation as well, like the ability for them to try and go for team fights as well is going to be a big one. Xante going to work out well. I think you've got this great setup with like Huli going in, getting that ultimate off, and then trying to set up alongside like River with the flick back. So I think when you come into these fights, it's going to be very difficult for BDS if they're not kind of keeping themselves in check. But Shell's starting to make his way in towards the mid lane here.
Level 3. Corey has to be a little bit careful to flash in immediately. We're going to get to do some damage down. Corey needs to get out of there. Corey's dead. He's going to run for his life, but he has to come back. First blood for the LEC for BDS in the mid lane.
I mean, it was only a matter of time, lads. BDS already off to a great start.
I could have gone longer than 3 minutes, matter of time. Jesus, I thought that would be, a little bit slower for us. Gory having maybe some of those same struggles we're seeing in playoffs here, just not tracking where Sheo was. He did that full topside clear and just hadn't gone to the bottom side of the map yet, so maybe a little surprised to see that. And I like the aggressiveness, just instant flash W, you get that guaranteed CC and kill, nice and easy.
Yeah, I mean, Gory at least didn't blow anything, so maybe when Sheo comes back, he'll have a better chance. But nice start here for BDS, and that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Sheo is a guy who kind of preemptively gets into a position to try and shut down any sort of aggression you go for. We're talking about the mid-jungle for Golden Guardians, and immediately Nuke off to a good start with that early setup with the Dark Seal now for himself.
And again, when we talk about a scaling team finding early advantages, it's so massive because while normally we look at Golden Guardians to be pretty heavily favored in some of these early skirmishes, just with the raw amount of damage, with the Amumu kind of setup that they have, things get so much easier when you're able to build a sizable gold advantage. And on the top side, should be okay here. Can double dash through, but obviously the Taliyah Unraveled Earth can be incredibly disruptive. Playing safe, Adam giving the respect necessary here, not to get caught out there as Gory trading back a little bit more in the mid lane. Obviously, the big thing about Yone is even if he falls behind, you know, you get boots 2, you get 1 item. This champion scales so incredibly well that small disadvantages don't matter as much.
Yeah, I think for the Golden Guardians team combo, it does have a lot of individual playmaking. It's really going to turn online at 6 around some of these neutral objective fights where they can try and find these big combinations with their ultimates. The obviously Yone one, the Amumu ultimate. See if you can get some of the gold lead back through there, because if you're just going standard laning and Shadows finding these kills on and off, you're going to be in a lot of trouble come 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going to start to see, especially like Rift Herald and that kind of stuff at the 8-minute mark. I feel like you've actually got a decent opportunity there for Golden Guardians to try and play off of Yone being strong, Cassante having good opportunities as well. Like, you are up against a Renekton who tends to thrive in those scenarios, but like Orianna isn't going to be that strong at that stage, and I don't even think you're going to get much of an opportunity, to be honest, for Crowley to try and make his way up towards that top side as well. So in its 3v3 scenario, give that edge to Golden Guardians.
Certainly, and especially if they're able to get set up first. Right now, Licorice obviously struggling to keep Prio in the lane to sustain a Renekton early on can be pretty frustrating to deal with. But if Tlee's there first, you can lay down the Unraveled Earth. So many of Golden Guardians champions just are going to have a hard time approaching these fights. Bottom side of the map, and kind of everywhere, it's really quiet, folks. We had that one gank. People are going to fish for ganks now, but until Herald spawns, I think at 8 minutes, there's just not 2 points on the map really for both sides to play for. And I imagine they're just going to trade objectives, if I'm honest, at the pace that we're going.
Yeah, it's very possible for BDS to say, great, first blood in our pocket, sack these first couple of objectives, keep that scaling going. Looks like that might be the plan for them. And I gotta say, I'm not shocked. This is a very high-stakes game for both these teams. You talk about BDS being young, never making it to international play. Technically, this is international play, but not Worlds or anything like that. So for Golden Guardians, also never making Worlds, I think there's a lot of pressure on both these teams. It's pretty easy to be the first team playing on this patch at Worlds, tons of people watching and having a little bit slower of a game one.
No, on top side, Adam's going to be able to grab a quick plate. Goes use the TP. Mean lane.
Oh no!
Here comes Shio. The ulti out now. Gonna take Gory to safety. Forced to use the ultimate before a fight though. Could cost him, but able to get out.
Very lucky. The pushback on the Maokai smash actually gave him the
Shockwave. Walking down. No mana. Clockwork wind up.
Oh! Sorry, Mark. Can you tell me what happened with the
now they're trying to beat up River. Oh no! Kobe in shambles.
All of NA in shambles, man. Not a great look to the start of this game. Gold dropping down. Oh no.
Okay. Alright, sorry, I'm trying to be the neutral party, but it's leaking out. Mark, it's getting bad fast.
I'm in my comfort zone, actually. I swear.
Oh yeah, because it's 3-0 already for BDS. That's very comfortable, right?
Oh god.
BDS Dragon setup. I mean, we'll see the replay. We can see maybe what went wrong at some point. On top side, Adam already got one, now wants to continue to follow up. Using the dominance, wants to pull commit here. Licorice can win the pullback, that's one dash. He's going to have another one to pull back there. Adam can, I believe, dice fall to slice, taking his time here. It has expired. Licorice going to be able to make it out, but forced to use the ultimate as well, so.
Still huge for BDS in this early game. We're talking about the scaling, we're talking about, oh, let's see if they can get to 20 minutes. Well, they can also just kill everyone and get the neutral objectives themselves. Here, Gory, I was talking about the Arcane Smash, moving him out of range so that the Yone ultimate could still go off, and then Shao's W follows him in range. But I didn't think afterwards Gory would just walk back up and die with his flash up. So I didn't see the game the same way, I guess, in that situation. My bad.
Look, if I want to be empathetic here, I've used this strategy in solo queue many times where you die to bait your opponent into a false sense of security. For plays like this, just a shot. Never mind. All right.
Which side do you want, Dracos? All right, come on, man.
When you play Yone and Yasuo, you either go 10-0 power spike or 0-10. And since he died first blood, he's committed now to the 0-10 playthrough.
Yeah. I will say though, like, I do like the Shane starting to get through this one, like in mid lane. But even like this is what you gotta expect from Adam. Like the fact he's roaming down to get these plays, like you do have to watch out for it. But I think we're kind of seeing what we expected, right? Early Dragon going to BDS, they're going to trade that for Rift on the top side. They know they don't really have control, so just looking for plays for a Sivir on the bottom side instead.
And this definitely feels like a lot of the time the best version of BDS, where they can win some fights early, as we see a contest actually coming through for this Rift here.
Oh, typical here. Licorice, no.
Oh no!
River gonna throw back.
Oh, nice!
The damage steal comes out. Down goes the jungler. Top laner next on the ledge. Flash up to safety, but in goes Adam, calling the meek here. Oh man, he's been to Denmark. He knows what licorice tastes like, and it tastes good.
Do you need a whole park?
No.
Are you okay?
No.
Is it alright?
One element to a false sense of security. Lose one game to give them false hope. It's this old CLG meme classic image.
Yeah,
Next
and
game,
I think ultimately for BDS fans, they can rejoice a little bit because BDS are playing a lot of what made them so successful in spring. They're steady, they're scaling, they're still making plays in the early game, they're still focused on getting these objectives. and they're showing up individually, which across the board is the perfect checklist you want. And for Golden Guardians fans, I think it's probably frustrating because what you believed, if you believed in Golden Guardians, was we weren't going to get playoff GG. We were going to get the refined version. It was going to work out. Hold that thought here is Hookie's coming along to the bottom side, and we're going in. There's just no way Crown gets out. He's got the clinch.
Wow!
He's donated over to 60. Does that feel good?
I don't know how many more of them get, dude. I gotta put like 10 kills of energy into that one.
I mean, look, it's a good setup. Crowley overextended, but I mean, Shale absolutely on form in this one. Like, this is kind of the Shale that we got in spring that made us so hyped for him coming in. Didn't get to see it as much towards the end of the year, but we got to see inklings of it at the end of season finals, and now again, showing it massively here. Getting that steal, setting up the kills. Shale is on form coming into it today.
Yeah, and it's nice punish kill on the flip side of the map, finding Crowley slightly overextended, trying to get some turret plate damage down after winning on the top side. So it's a nice consolation prize, but at the end of the day, the fact that you get the Rift Herald taken away after Golden Guardians had committed time to that, you get the kills, everything is going so well for them on the top side, and it was one of the parts of the map that I think was the most contentious when you heard people talking about how you thought it would go. Is Adam a genius or is he crazy? You know, which of the two is that? Shale, how great is he when he has to play around top side so much? And so far, everything's come up exactly how BDS wants, controlling Gordy in the early game. They have the roams from Adam to find the cleanup kill in that mid lane. He's been all over the map as well. Everything seems to be looking really good for them.
Yeah. Right now, BDS sitting pretty. Have the luxury of scaling on their side as well, at least when we look to the simple perspective that is front-to-back team fights most certainly, but often the easiest one to reference. Golden Guardians, 6s are through. They made a play on the bottom side of the map. Huhi, when his ult is up and available, we can imagine to fish for another play here. Because again, even at small disadvantages, the potential for playmaking on this Golden Guardians lineup is massive. Could lead to at least a few more kills if they can find the angles.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the amount of attention that's been invested by BDS on this bottom side. They really want to make sure that they're able to play around this bot end and try and find success. Shale was thinking of using that return bot side, couldn't really find it in, so now going to move it to mid lane instead and just try and snowball this Oriana even further.
Yeah, it's absolutely disgusting. Plates going down in every single lane at the same time for BDS. They have CS leads in every single lane as well. They have the kill advantage, and they have a lot of map control now, getting tons of wards down the bot side of the map. They also have some on the top side to make sure they can track River and not fall prey to any of these kinds of ganks.
Yeah.
Also the fact, the Andrew's Anguish already completed. Like, this Oriana is so accelerated, it's kind of disgusting.
You guys should stop building items for a little bit and give us a chance to catch up. It's kind of unfair that you admit this and we don't. I thought Riot was about competitive integrity. What is this?
I mean, in Europe, the shops aren't even open yet. Like, the time zone runs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huhi in a decent angle here, spotted out, but she's going to get a nice knockback still because of the Sad Mommy coming in. We're going to get a flick back, massive damage on the jungler, and another kill donated over to Sinkers. So big potential moment here, coming in to the side of the Golden Guardians, with 6 going to get taken out by Glory off to the side, completely whiffs. Now forced to snap back here. Where's the 1v1, Lickers denies the TP, but it costs him his life. Huhi now trying to buy Nuke on form today, playing like he did in the season final.
Oh, it looked so good until it didn't. I saw the cancel. I was like, oh boy, we've definitely overextended, but BDS taking those early advantages and really hammering them home there. And as well as you say, like, this is what we were kind of alluding to, was like, this kind of feels like a meta for Nuke, and he's popping off in this one.
Yeah, you can see nice interruption. Makes them have to commit a lot of resources to find this kill. It's almost everything to instantly destroy him. And then the pincer comes in from Crowley and Nuke at the same time. Nice re-engage by LeBron to find these targets, and then force them to scatter before Gory can even get involved. And while it's a nice interrupt by Licorice, you do lose that 1v1, so cost him his own life to try and stop Adam from getting involved in the playoffs. Still went BDS's way.
This is where BDS are most dangerous. They're winning fights on that bottom side. They're just getting second dragon, as you can see in the picture there. And now they're going to be like, okay, well, Golden Guardians, what are you going to do? You got to come and fight us now. You got to try and prevent us getting this third, fourth dragon. But you're not really in a position to when we've got this big Oriana. Crowley's now picking up what he needs as well. And when you come to team fights, like that ultimate from the Maokai is so difficult to deal with when you're such short range.
And the thing is, too, the later and later we get into this game, they're just going to be able to have such clean control of an objective. You've got the Maokai, you've got the Saplings, you've got the Maokai ultimate, and for a lot of these champions, they're great divers. They're great divers when they've got an angle, when they don't have to walk face first with a Maokai, when they're not behind in goals. So much of what Golden Guardians wanted to do with this composition is going to be shut down by the fact that BDS had any kind of advantage. They're going to be able to get objectives set up first, and certainly because they have such a large advantage at this stage of the game.
That's where I was going to go a little bit earlier with the early game for them is while they are not like this usually insane early game team, they have won a number of them where they get early objective control, get a couple kills in the back. Draft scaling, it just jumpstarts you so much further to their team fighting where they are also very, very good. So this is one of those games where, you know, Router Dragon Fighter 2, maybe a full send, a couple more team fights for Golden Guardians, but already it's kind of hard to not have your mind looking at game 2 when you're 6K down against a full scaling team, kind of.
Yeah. You should probably send it to the main team instead of the academy team. That might help, yeah.
Yeah, they're just giving them some extra rest. You know, they're getting used to the Korean time zone, I'm sure, or something.
Remind me, this is your, like, basically your second seed, right? That's why.
That's some old school thinking. No, NRG is actually definitely the best team. TL's our third best, and yeah. Golden Guardians fell off for sure. They're ready to disown them after a single game.
I'm nervous I'm going to have to be you next game. It's going to be me and Dad going to be like,
You know what's funny is every time I come over to Europe to do like an EE versus NA game, this was like last year, MSI did some of the G2 ones. We're like, yeah, we're going to like talk smack and have really fun. And then G2 just like destroyed us and railed us. I was like, yeah, I can't really fight back, guys.
To be fair, Mad Lions EG was the same. Can we get a close series?
I did get to catch that one, and that was also a rail. And now here we are, not looking very good.
Kind of, it's not. We need to be close, or it just feels mean.
Let's go 5 games. Let's give the fans something to enjoy.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a European fan, you woke up at 5, 6 o'clock to watch this game. Don't 3-0 them. Yeah, other people wake up and enjoy it.
To be fair, if you do 3-0, they'll be able to get to work on time. So, you know.
He can even watch the entire series before work.
Hey, yeah.
Just suffer a bowl of cereal.
On a lunch break, at 2x speed, if you will see it.
It is looking tough. And again, I think when we talk about scaling, it's important to be clear here. Renekton is not a bad laner. Orion is not a bad laner. Sivir and Kaisa isn't a bad lane either. So I think the big window of opportunity we were hoping to see from Golden Guardians was around 6.
Oh my god, for V3,
because of what their ults can bring to the table, their characters can bring to the table, their skirmishes, and they just didn't get a chance to do that. They were already behind by the time those opportunities came up.
Yeah, I think that's the big one. Like, going into the next one, if Gory can try and just keep it a little bit safer, like get early vision down, stop shit, having the influence mid, I think this could be a very different game. So I think it kind of just snowballed out of control, but it still means he should have a decent opportunity to just bounce back in game 2.
Yeah, hopefully game 2 is a new look for them. But I will say for the BDS side, they didn't do anything crazy, which you sometimes see them
We're
do.
trying to help you.
I know, but I'm looking at both sides here. I'm an objective, unbiased analyst.
You're telling me right now that someone has level 3 ganked mid lane as Maokai with Flash W before? You're telling me that's not crazy?
I think Shea was the first human being to ever consider that possibility.
To combine both the Flash
We've never seen that before in history.
That was an S tier.
Shea, what was that?
My point was, they didn't do any of their level 1 stuff where they didn't get kind of crazy. I mean, Adam didn't pick one of his weirder champions. Like, this is...
It's pretty much vanilla ice cream, the game. And vanilla's great. It's the foundation for countless delicious flavors. Cookie dough, etc. But yeah, I know what you're saying. And I think that for Golden Guardians, the concern here for me, if I'm a Golden Guardians fan at this point, is this feels like a Golden Guardians kind of composition, and when this hasn't worked, what else do you have? Is this just a first shot, a Hail Mary, like let's try something weird, or is this what has been working in sprints?
Generally speaking, Golden Guardians are a very diverse team. They can play multiple play styles. They have different champions, and so I don't think that this is like a one shot, this is all we got. If this fails, then we're just going to run it back 2 more games, and this is all we can do. So this is a bread and butter kind of composition with a lot of heavy dive and focus on engage.
Sure.
But to be fair, like we said, in playoffs, they were struggling, and it was Corey who was getting beaten up a little bit in some of these series. So it is concerning to see in the first game that he is running into that problem. He's someone who has had some problems, you could say, potentially with choking in some high-pressure situations, both in the PCS a long time ago, in some finals, as well as now that there was pressure on them in summer, losing in some of these series.
I also think it's like, because you end up with that much mid-pressure coming through from BDS, it kind of shut down the person I was really excited for Golden Guardians, which is Hui. Like, Hui's been so good at like rolling mid, making early plays, like getting out on the map, but it feels like we just haven't really had a chance. I mean, he was first All-Pro team as well, right? Like, I was expecting to see a lot of movement out from him, but I think with Crowley and Lavrov having a ton of push and bot, and then just how poorly mid has gone, it feels like kind of the early setup that Golden Guardians have been successful with hasn't been there.
Yeah, and I think that because the lanes fell behind so soon, they just had prio across the board. I mean, Adam got so many plays, 4 or 5 at the end of the day, and at this stage, you can't really move on the map. It's going to cost you so much in terms of just raw gold value. And for BDS, they don't need to do anything fancy at this stage of the game. They've got pressure where they want it. They can set up their objectives first. If they play it slow and take their time and are diligent about vision control, it's very hard for Golden Guardians to find an angle.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but generally speaking, BDS was not the team to burger flip Barons from ahead and throw 10k gold leads.
No, I'm really sorry. No, it's not us.
Do I got any...
Okay, to beat 3 dragons at the top, that's their game. They're just going to go and fight you dragon, and then it's like, yeah, I'm sorry, man.
I think he'll throw. No.
That's okay, man. Look, sometimes in game
Look, you
one,
get him in game
bread
two,
and butter
yeah.
compositions
You
become
guys.
mom spaghetti compositions very soon, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe just a little nerves. Just got to get it out.
I mean, clearly you just need to ban Renekton, Maokai, Orianna, Sivir, and Rakana game 5.
Yeah, sure. And that's what your 5 bans are for.
Yes. The exact
That's how
composition they play.
you're a former coach. That's how drafting works in League of Legends.
You just ban what, according to Reddit, absolutely. The thing that won was the problem, so you should have banned that instead of whatever the opportunity cost is. I've never heard of that.
It always feels just on the cusp of personal with you, Mark.
It's like, are you referencing something
Specific? Adam pulled back, but he's a beefy boy. And in come the Cats. And GG is just going to get shredded through his sticks in the backside. And LeBron goes in the shockwave combo. BDS from start to finish taking control of this game, doing it in style now. They break into the base of the Golden Guardians. This could just be the end. Are we going to get a Dancing Herald? Probably not. It's got 90 HP. But the fact that I had to ask that question says a lot about this game one.
I think they're going to go for it, though.
Dancing Herald.
I gotta say, this is a statement.
No.
This is a statement.
It's all right.
It's still a statement game.
At least it's post 20 minutes, alright? At least it's something.
BDS striking first in the World Qualifier Series. Are you awake, Europe? It's the time to be alive, doubters. You can still doubt. It's only game one, but we're feeling it here. We woke up 4 a.m., but damn, we're awake now. I'll tell you that much. Except for Mark. Mark is sad. But
Nah, I'm chilling, dude. That was a great game. I had a lot of fun watching that one. BDS coming out game one, guns firing, feeling good. Can't wait to see how they go in game one.
it's hard. You know, it's a difficult thing here. You're watching the Copium manifest here.
Yeah.
1 in 5 NA fans.
Just gonna slowly
Can't
step
accept
away from reality. It's over
Just
here, and I don't
reality.
like reality, so I'm gonna step over here,
Yeah.
where we did not just lose in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I think ultimately, for all fans involved, as much as it's cathartic for EU fans to just watch BDS smash a game one, we're hoping for something a little bit more competitive here in game two. And I think for Golden Guardians, it would feel terrible to play a series at this level and immediately go home. So on an empathetic level, I just want to see more from them so they can at least be like, hey, we gave it our all.
Yeah, I think it's worth like going back to what Raz is saying is like go towards your control mages mid. Like I actually started looking at these ears and the singers and that kind of stuff because I think when you look to the last one, the Yona just wasn't working out. I think early